So, I wanted to talk to you about this recurring dream I have about video games. It's not the one where I'm floating in space being slowly chewed up by a huge monster shaped like the video game industry, or where I finally save the princess and the princess lifts up her veil and underneath it's Luigi. It's not the one about Ms. Pac-Man either. I don't want to talk about that. I really don't want to talk about that. I'm at a party. I'm surrounded by everyone I've ever loved from a distance, and I'm pretending I can drink wine so I fit in. The room is stately and infinite. The guests wear masks and evening dress. Sparse, playful piano music illuminates their small talk. I laugh awkwardly at a joke I don't understand, waiting for my time, my opportunity to speak, and then one of the masks turns to me and says, "So, what is it you do?" I know the answer to this. "I make video games," I reply, and the room falls silent. The piano music cuts out. There is a pause. And the person says this, something I've heard so many times in real life. I never really got into video games. They seem like a bit of a waste of time." Now, I understand why they say that, why they think that. I've been here before. That's our reputation. I'm ready to challenge them, to give examples of games that aren't a waste of time, but the mask I'm wearing suddenly doesn't have a mouth, and then the conversation moves on without me. I want to interrupt, but my words are stifled, and so I seethe quietly. Sure, everything I do is a waste of time. Video games are a waste of time, just like you'd think books are a waste of time if you'd never read the right books. Like movies, like music, all a waste of time, like art is a waste of time, like dreaming this dream over and over again is a waste of time. Like sleep is such a waste of time. I wake up. Good morning. It's Tuesday the 12th of January 2010. The snow that has frozen Great Britain to a standstill over the last week has started to melt, and I'm going to work. I live in London and I work in Brighton at a video game studio, Zoe Mode, where I'm the creative director. I go there every day to make video games. Brighton is a long way from London. I used to be a writer. It was much easier to explain to people what I did when I was a writer, and there was less chance they'd think it was a waste of time. My journey to work was easier too. It used to be the distance from my bed to my desk, sometimes not even that. Then I started over again in video games because I realised that although I loved writing, I wanted to make something new. Gaming is this giant creative space surrounded by a frontier, and beyond that frontier there are so many countries left unmapped. That was so exciting to me. It's still exciting to me, and it should excite you, right? All of you. And that's sort of the idea here, I guess. I was asked to make this video 6 months ago, given no brief, no restrictions, and that can be pretty overwhelming. But if writing taught me one thing, it was that you should never ever be afraid of a blank sheet of paper. You just need to know what you want to achieve, the vision, and you need to know how you're going to achieve it, the plan. The vision part, that was easy. I wanted to show you what gets me to work in the morning. So here we are, and the first plan came quickly too, to talk about meeting those impolite people in real life, and their idea, the world's idea, that video games are a waste of time. I have a radio show in London called One Life Left. It's about games, sort of, at least it loves them without worrying whether they're a waste of time or not. Why? Because it knows that perhaps 99% of them are. And that's fine, because the 1% is so brilliant it can change your life forever. So I was going to do this short episode of One Life Left where my co-presenters and I showed you some of that 1%, the independent games that have done tiny things so well and inspired us, the ones that show conclusively that gaming isn't a waste of time. I changed my mind because you know that already. You know that games are worthwhile, you know what inspired you, and you know exactly what you're going to do. You're all intending to make something amazing. So I threw most of that away. Though the first plan actually led to the second. Instead of how games are wasted time, I decided to focus on how developers waste time. I hate that, and I was going to record this breathless narrative as I barricaded myself in a room, explaining to you that here, at the frontier, you are fighting the man. The man has a budget of millions upon millions of dollars and hundreds of people ready to do his bidding. You have 48 hours to change the world. But it's not as one-sided as it might seem, because your size and speed can work to your advantage. You're going to have to innovate, take risks that just can't be taken by professional developers. Do that well, and you'll win. But no, That wouldn't work. What do I know about taking down the man? Why would I even want to? I work for the man. So, another restart, another new way to achieve that vision. What gets me to work in the morning? I recorded a monologue on a desolate beach in the northwest of England, simple and factual, explaining how some days I have no idea. Not because video games are a waste of time, not because developers waste time, but because every day I arrive at work and I'm surrounded by brilliant, talented people who turn my ideas into beautiful things. And they are so much better than I am. And God knows I have no practical skills. Any one of you could and will do what I do. You can learn so much more just by talking to the people next to you right now. If your game is going to be brilliant, you will have to do that. I changed my mind again. That one was too close to home. 3 broken plans are not a thing to show for it. What now? Here is what now. I will film my journey to work. This is my journey to work. It's not so bad. It used to be worse. A mile walk, 2 overcrowded underground trains, an overground train, and then another 5-minute walk to our old office. Now it's 2 overground trains and 2 short walks, and from door to door, it takes somewhere between 70 and 80 minutes each way. That adds up. The UK working year is 252 days. That's 630 hours travelling, nearly a month of every year spent commuting. And that's if everything goes to plan. Everything is not going to plan right now. The trains aren't working properly at the moment. The snow outside is melting, but the trains are still delayed. So is this wasted time? Maybe. But it's okay. I have a book. In the introduction to Bagumbo Snuffbox, a collection of short stories he wrote as a younger man, Kurt Vonnegut defines 8 rules for writing. I followed these rules religiously when I was a writer, and I think they can apply to games too, with a little interpretation. But one of Vonnegut's perfect rules doesn't need changing at all. The first, and the only one he declares can never be broken. Use the time of a total stranger in such a way that he or she will not feel it was wasted. All the previous plans I made, they're all part of that. You should know that most games are a waste of time, and you should think about why. If you do just one thing brilliantly, amaze the player in one way, you'll be one of the experiences they remember. You will be in that 1%. You should also see that this is a chance to do something new, something innovative. There's no point in just retreading the work of a company with a bigger budget, more time than you, but you can still do things that will make them green with envy. And you should know that you're surrounded by brilliant people, and you need to talk to them, you need to listen to them all the time. If you don't do that, then you're wasting your own time. Take all of these principles, mix them with an idea of your own, and you'll have a vision. You'll know what you want to achieve. So how do you achieve it? By starting with a plan, any plan, and recognising that it's okay for that plan to change. No, more than that, you should expect it to change. You only have 48 hours, sure, which is terrifying. 48 hours into a mid-budget console games production, so many professional games development teams would still be arguing about due process, sprint sizes, who has to sit where. But still, if you're not making mistakes during that 48 hours, then either you're the luckiest team alive, or you're not close enough to the frontier. So listen, come up with a vision you all believe in, something you want to say, then design and redesign, draw, erase, code, rewrite, Get a first draft working as soon as possible, be ready to blow it all up and start again. Mistakes aren't mistakes as long as you learn from them. They become as much part of the project as the things you get right. Create, destroy, salvage, and create. That's what happened over the last 2 days as I wrote this talk. My plans weren't wasted though, because each of them led to the next. So, what gets me to work in the morning? The train. That's the answer, the train. And amazing video games, brilliant people, and the thrill of making something new. Writing was easier, but the rewards were worthless to me. Time passes, snow melts, the journey is tough, but my time is never wasted. And whatever happens over the next 48 hours, yours won't be either. Just keep your vision, learn from your mistakes, don't be afraid to change your plans, and you'll get there eventually. You're travelling to a frontier, it's not meant to be easy, but the things you get to see when you get there make all the nightmares worthwhile. Good luck.